It started with rainbow hair, viral songs, and more attention than anyone in hip-hop had seen in years. But now, the internet's loudest voice has gone eerily quiet. Tekashi 6ix9ine, once the king of controversy and clout, seems to have vanished from the spotlight, and fans are asking one thing: what really happened? Whispers are growing louder. Was it the betrayal of close friends, the mounting legal drama, or something deeper? Something even his most loyal fans never saw coming. Minute, he was flying private jets and flashing stacks of cash. The next, he was missing gigs, deleting posts, and clashing with people who once called him family. The fall of 6ix9ine isn't just about lost fame. This is a story of backstabbing, emotional breakdowns, and a career torn apart by the very chaos that built it. And here's the twist. Insiders claim the real reason 6ix9ine disappeared has nothing to do with music at all. From shocking betrayals to explosive confrontations behind closed doors, we've uncovered the drama even his closest friends tried to bury. Buckle up! Because once you hear what really went down, you'll understand why 6ix9ine might not be coming back ever again. It all started on a night that should have been a celebration. 6ix9ine had just dropped what he claimed would be his big return. A music video shot in Miami featuring a rented Tiger, 15 models, and a yacht bigger than most people's dreams. But behind the scenes, the tension was already brewing. The crew had been arguing all day. The money was late. The Tiger's handler quit mid-shoot. And then, in the middle of filming, 6ix9ine stormed off the yacht, screaming into his phone. Nobody knew who was on the other end of that call. But those who were there said his face changed. Something had happened. The cocky smirk, the wild confidence, gone. He threw the phone so hard it shattered on the deck. And just like that, the shoot was over. That night, the drama exploded. Leaked voice notes surfaced online. Someone claiming to be a former manager said 6ix9ine was done in the industry. Fans dismissed it at first, thinking it was just another clout chaser. But within 24 hours, rumors started pouring in. Canceled studio sessions, unpaid producers, even reports that 6ix9ine had been kicked out of a hotel in Miami after trashing the room in a rage. The next morning, 6ix9ine went live on Instagram. His tone was different, defensive, paranoid. He ranted about fake friends, snakes in his circle, and people trying to bury him alive. He shouted at the camera, said he wasn't scared of anybody, and promised to expose everybody real soon. But before he could finish, the live suddenly cut off, and when fans checked back later, the video was gone, deleted. Then came the first real shock. A close friend, someone who had been by 6ix9ine's side since before the fame, went public. He posted a cryptic story. "I tried to help, but some people can't be saved." He didn't say 6ix9ine's name, but everyone knew. A few hours later, another person, a well-known producer, posted a screenshot of text messages. In the text, 6ix9ine begged for a beat on credits. The producer replied, "Bro, you still owe me from 2021. That was just the beginning." By the end of the week, it felt like everyone was turning on him. Old collaborators started coming out of the woodwork. One claimed 6ix9ine had promised to feature on a song and ghosted. Another said he pulled out of a show 2 hours before it started and refused to refund the promoter. A third went further, saying 6ix9ine had threatened him after he called out his behavior privately. The industry started distancing itself. No one said it outright, but it became clear. Calls weren't getting returned, producers weren't sending beats. Video directors stopped picking up, and through it all, 6ix9ine went silent. His fans, the ones who used to ride for him no matter what, were confused. Where was he? Why wasn't he clapping back? Why wasn't he posting? Even the trolling, the wild comments, the chaos, gone. Then a story broke that took everything to a new level. Someone close to his family anonymously told a gossip page that 6ix9ine had been cut off financially by one of his business partners. The claim: he blew through nearly $1 million in a matter of months. Private jets, security, chains, rental mansions. And when the money stopped coming, so did the lifestyle. It didn't take long for more details to leak. Alleged bank statements, photos of luxury cars being towed from a Miami driveway. And then a blurry photo got 6ix9ine sitting alone outside a cheap motel in Florida, head down, hoodie on. Fans were stunned. This couldn't be real. The guy who used to flex racks of cash on camera, now eating at a gas station Subway. But as more sources confirmed the story, it became impossible to deny. The image of 6ix9ine as untouchable, unstoppable, bulletproof, it was starting to fall apart, and it wasn't just the fame or money slipping away. Insiders said 6ix9ine was dealing with something even deeper: mental health. According to one source who claimed to be close to his sister, 6ix9ine hadn't been sleeping. He was paranoid, convinced people were watching him. He kept changing phones, moving cities, cutting off contact with everyone. One day he'd be calling old friends in tears. The next he'd be sending threatening voice notes, accusing them of betrayal. Those same friends, now speaking anonymously, said they tried to stage an intervention. They told him he needed help, therapy, rest, a break. But 6ix9ine didn't listen. He accused them of trying to control him, told them they were jealous, and then he blocked them all. One of them shared a message he'd sent before cutting contact. I gave y'all everything. I made y'all famous. And now you want to act like I'm the problem? Nah, I see it now. Y'all was fake the whole time. At this point, the story wasn't just about a rapper fading away. It was turning into a full-blown collapse. Even fans who had supported him through the court cases, the snitching scandal, the endless trolling, even they started asking questions. Was 6ix9ine okay? Was he spiraling? Or was this all just another setup for a comeback? But no comeback came. Instead, something else happened. A video leaked, grainy, clearly taken from a hidden phone, showing what looked like 6ix9ine arguing with a woman in a parking lot. His voice was raised, hers was shaking. The video was only 10 seconds long, but it went viral within minutes. People speculated everything. Was it a girlfriend, an ex, a family member? No one knew for sure, but the damage was done. Suddenly, people weren't just talking about his music or money, they were questioning his character again. Stories started circulating. Someone claimed he had gotten into a fight at a private party. In LA, another claimed he trashed a hotel room in New York and blamed it on someone else. No one could confirm the details, but the rumors kept coming, and still, silence from 6ix9ine, what used to be his powers, staying loud, staying visible, staying viral, had become his weakness. Without the energy, without the presence, without the controversy, there was nothing left to distract from the truth. He was losing everything, and worst of all, he didn't seem to have anyone left to help him stop it. But just when everyone thought it couldn't get more chaotic, one voice came forward that no one expected, someone from his own family. And that's where the real story begins. The person who stepped forward wasn't a rapper, a producer, or a former friend trying to ride a wave. It was someone from inside the house. Someone who had watched the rise and now couldn't stay quiet about the fall. His cousin, known only by her online name, Maylee, uploaded a video titled "He's Not Okay and Nobody's Helping Him." Within an hour, it had over 50,000 views. By the end of the day, it was trending on social media. In the video, Melly sat in a dimly lit room, no makeup, no filters, just raw emotion. She said she wasn't doing it for attention, that she was doing it because no one else would. I watched him go from nothing to everything, she said, and now I'm watching him lose it all, and everyone's pretending like it's not happening. Melly claimed the family had been trying to reach 6ix9ine for months. She said he blocked numbers, refused to answer messages, and moved without telling anyone. She talked about missed birthdays, unanswered calls, and moments when he'd promise to come see their grandmother and never show up. But then she said something that made fans freeze. It's not just the fame messing him up, it's something else, something darker. And if nobody steps in, something bad is going to happen. She didn't go into detail, but that was all it took. All it took. Theories exploded. Fans speculated everything. Drug addiction, mental illness, threats from people behind the scenes. Some even claimed he was hiding from someone or something bigger than the public knew. And while all this chaos unfolded online, 6ix9ine was still missing from the picture. No posts, no music, no live videos, not even paparazzi sightings. Then came the turning point, a voicemail leaked by a former bodyguard who had worked with him during his post-prison comeback tour. The message, clearly recorded during a breakdown, featured 6ix9ine sobbing, his voice cracking as he said, "I can't trust nobody. They all want something from me. I'm tired, man. I'm just tired." The voicemail was real, raw, Heartbreaking. People who had once laughed at his trolling now fell silent. For the first time, it wasn't funny, it was human. But just as fans were beginning to shift from mockery to concern, the next twist shattered everything. A well-known influencer who had dated 6ix9ine years ago went live on TikTok with a bombshell story. She claimed that during a trip to Mexico, she and 6ix9ine got into a violent argument. She didn't give all the details, but said she left the trip early and had been sitting on this story ever since. She didn't call it abuse, but her words hung heavy. He wasn't right, she said. His anger wasn't normal, and the way he talked about people, it was scary. By the end of her stream, screenshots began surfacing, photos, blurry clips from Mexico, nothing confirmed anything, but the timing lined up with 6ix9ine's sudden disappearance months earlier. And then, the label dropped him quietly. No press release, no statement, just a quiet unfollow on social media and removal from their website. Fans noticed immediately, and it confirmed what many had feared. The industry wasn't just stepping back. From 6ix9ine, they were closing the door on him entirely. What followed was a wave of silence. Not just from him, but from everyone around him, even people who used to post with him daily. His entourage, his hype men, his online friends, they vanished. Someone posted a photo of his old Brooklyn block with the caption, "Even the street doesn't speak his name anymore." Then came the footage that broke the internet. A blurry security cam clip leaked from an unknown location showed what appeared to be 6ix9ine getting into a heated argument at a gas station. He looked thinner, tired, unrecognizable without the usual flash. The man he was arguing with pushed him. 6ix9ine swung. People stepped in. It was chaotic. And just like that, he disappeared into the night, ducking behind a car and vanishing. Off screen within minutes, fans began comparing the footage to his past. The energy, the rage, the fights. It was like watching the same story on repeat, only sadder each time. And then an unexpected voice joined the conversation. His mother. She hadn't spoken publicly in years, never gave interviews, never responded to the fame, the drama, the headlines. But in a handwritten letter shared through a family friend, she broke her silence. In the letter, she wrote about her son's childhood, how bright he was, how lost he became. She didn't excuse everything he'd done, but she said something that shook fans to their core. He became the character because the world loved the character more than they loved the real boy. She said the fame was never about happiness. It was about survival, and that once he got a taste of being seen, he couldn't stop even when it started hurting him. The letter ended with a simple sentence: "If you're reading this, come home." The post went viral instantly. Fans who had been mocking him days before were now posting messages of support, asking him to reach out to his family. Even longtime critics started saying the same thing. It's gone too far, but before anyone could hope for a peaceful resolution, one more twist changed everything again. A new artist, a young rapper rising quickly online, dropped a song that sampled one of 6ix9ine's old tracks without permission. When called out, the artist posted a ruthless tweet. He fell off. His name is free now. The internet erupted. Some fans defended 6ix9ine, saying it was disrespectful. Others laughed, saying it was proof he had officially become irrelevant. And that's when 6ix9ine finally broke his silence. No video, no song. Just a single post on his story, a black screen with the words, "Y'all wanted this, right?" Nothing else, no follow-up, no explanation, no comeback teaser, just silence again. And that one post left fans more divided than ever. Was he done? Was he planning something? Or was that message a goodbye? Everyone had a theory, but no one had answers. And as the world waited, one person from his past decided they had seen enough. Someone who had once called him family. Someone who had once said they'd never speak against him, and what they were about to reveal would flip the entire story upside down. The person who came forward wasn't just an old friend or some forgotten collaborator. It was someone who used to live in the house with him, someone who had shared his rise, watched the money roll in, and had stayed quiet during every headline, every scandal, every meltdown. His half-brother, known by most as Ray, broke his silence. In an explosive interview with a drama podcast called Street Stories Uncensored, the episode was titled "The Truth About 6ix9ine That Nobody Wanted to Hear." and by the end of its first hour online, it had over 300,000 views. Ray didn't hold back. He said 6ix9ine's downfall didn't start in the courtroom, or on Instagram, or even with fake friends. It started the moment 6ix9ine stopped listening to anyone but himself. He got addicted to chaos, Ray said. It wasn't about the music anymore, it was about the attention. If he wasn't trending, he felt like he didn't exist. He described moments where 6ix9ine would pick fights online just to feel alive. He'd call up team members in the middle of the night demanding fake beefs. One time, he allegedly paid someone to fake a robbery just so he could post about it the next day. But what hurt most, Ray said, was how 6ix9ine treated the people who truly cared. We were his family. And the moment we said something he didn't want to hear, we were out. Blocked. Erased. He said their mom cried for nights after 6ix9ine ghosted her on her birthday, claiming he was too busy. He said their younger cousin was promised a visit that never came, and he stopped talking altogether for a week when it didn't happen. Fans were floored. Some defended 6ix9ine, saying he was under pressure and needed space. Others turned on him completely, saying it was one betrayal too many. But then, the podcast dropped part 2. And this time, it was even worse. Ray claims 6ix9ine had secretly recorded conversations with his own team members and used those clips to manipulate them. He'd twist what they said and show it to others to stir up fights, then sit back and enjoy the fallout. He didn't want peace. He wanted to control the chaos, Ray said. The internet exploded. People started reposting old videos looking for signs. Fans pointed to specific live streams, old captions, shady behavior. It was all there, hiding in plain sight. And then, in the middle of the madness, something completely unexpected happened. One of 6ix9ine's former bodyguards posted a long thread on social media. At first, people thought it was just more gossip, but buried in the thread was a detail that sent shockwaves through the fan base. The bodyguard claimed that during a show overseas, 6ix9ine had a full-blown panic attack backstage and had to be sedated. He said 6ix9ine cried, said he felt like everyone hated him and begged them not to leave him alone. He even claimed that 6ix9ine whispered something over and over again in a daze. "I don't know who I am anymore." People didn't want to believe it. The loudest voice in hip-hop, the man who built his image on fearlessness and arrogance, begging to not be left alone. It was too real, too vulnerable, too human. The clip went viral within hours. Even some of his biggest critics admitted that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't about clout anymore. Maybe it was a person drowning in the world they created. But just when sympathy started building again, another video leaked, and this one undid everything. A hidden camera clip taken inside what appeared to be a studio showed 6ix9ine arguing with someone off camera. The audio was rough, but his voice was unmistakable. "I made you," he shouted. "Without me, you're nothing." He went on to accuse the person of stealing from him, of trying to ride his name. And then he said something that stopped viewers. "Cold. I'll ruin you. You think you're safe, but I'll end you with one post." The video reignited the rage. Fans who had started feeling sympathy pulled back. Media outlets grabbed onto the story. Headlines read, 6ix9ine threatens collaborator, and behind the scenes, he's still the villain. But there was one more twist no one saw coming. Someone close to the woman in the earlier gas station video came forward, anonymously and with a message. They said she was terrified to speak out, not because of what 6ix9ine might do, but because of what the internet would say. He's got millions of followers. She's got nothing. Even if she told the truth, they'd destroy her. The message didn't name her, but it said enough. People started talking about accountability. Fans began asking hard questions. How much could they excuse in the name of entertainment? At what point does trolling become damage? Still, through all the noise, 6ix9ine said nothing. Days passed, then weeks. His page stayed quiet. No posts, no stories. Not even a like on someone else's photo. And then a story broke that changed everything again. Not about 6ix9ine the artist, but 6ix9ine the person. An anonymous source claimed he had quietly checked into a wellness center under a false name. The center, located somewhere in Arizona, catered to high-profile clients dealing with burnout, trauma, and mental collapse. No one could confirm it for sure. But a paparazzi photo surfaced of someone with rainbow-colored hair entering a gated facility. Face covered, shoulders hunched, not a single security guard in sight. People were stunned. Was he really getting help? And if so, what did that mean? for everything that had happened. Was this the beginning of healing or the end of the story? While fans debated, one thing was clear. The man who once ruled the internet now existed only in whispers. And yet, somewhere in that silence, a new storm was building, because not everyone was happy to let the past stay buried. Someone else. Someone who had been watching this whole time, had been keeping receipts, and what they were about to drop would bring the entire internet to a halt. The person who stepped out of the shadows wasn't a rival, wasn't a fan, and wasn't someone the internet had even talked about yet. It was his former videographer, the guy who shot the very first viral videos, the person who helped turn 6ix9ine's chaotic image into an online phenomenon. For years, he had stayed quiet, watching everything unfold. But now he had something to say. He uploaded a 30-minute documentary-style video titled The Tapes 6ix9ine Never Wanted You to See, and within minutes, it exploded. The video opened with old, unseen footage of 6ix9ine backstage before his first ever viral performance. In the clip, he looked nervous, pacing back and forth, biting his nails. "What if they don't like me?" he asked. The cameraman, laughing, replied, "They'll love you. Just be loud and crazy." That moment hit the fans hard. This wasn't the internet villain they had come to know. This was a kid unsure of himself, playing a part to get noticed. But the documentary didn't stop there. It moved into darker territory, showing moments when 6ix9ine fought with his team, demanded retakes when he didn't look wild enough, and even accused one of his own friends of not being chaotic enough for the brand. The worst part came about 20 minutes in. A recorded phone call, timestamped from 2021, revealed 6ix9ine mocking his own fans. "They don't care what I say," he laughed. "They just want to watch me fall. So I give them a little fall, then bounce right back. It's a game." Fans were heartbroken. To hear their idol admit he didn't believe in any of it, the persona, the loyalty, the connection, I was like being punched in the gut. The internet turned fast. Tweets flew. "He never cared about us. We made him famous for what? But this whole time it was just a show." Even those who had defended him through scandal after scandal now felt betrayed. The final clip in the documentary was the most chilling. It was 6ix9ine alone in a hotel room talking to the camera. "You know what the real problem is?" he said, staring at the lens. "I built this whole thing on noise, but when the noise stops, there's nothing left." That quote would be reposted thousands of times over the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, another story surfaced. Someone who had briefly worked as his assistant during a European tour claimed he used to stare at news articles about himself for hours. Good or bad, it didn't matter. He just wanted to be seen. He didn't care if they loved him or hated him, she said, as long as they were looking. And now, no one was looking anymore. With the release of the documentary, 6ix9ine's public image hit rock bottom. The industry had moved on. His fans had turned. Even his own inner circle had exposed him. And still, he remained silent until one day his page flickered back to life. No music, no trolling, no flashy comeback trailer, just a single post, a video of a quiet beach at sunrise. The waves crashing softly, no talking, no captions. For 2 days, there was silence. Then, finally, a caption appeared. "I'm sorry, I lost myself." It was the first time in years fans had seen him use words that weren't defensive, loud, or performative. The comment section was a war zone. Some people called it fake, others said it was too late, but a very few, said it was the most real thing he'd ever posted. But what followed next was not what anyone expected. A well-known therapist and celebrity recovery coach posted that 6ix9ine had reached out for guidance. The post wasn't meant to go public, but screenshots leaked showing a conversation about rebuilding trust and letting go of the character. Rumors flew again. Was he working on a comeback not with music, but with honesty? Blogs started speculating about a rebrand. No more rainbow hair, no more trolling. Just a man trying to be himself. But then one last betrayal cut through the hope. A text thread leaked between 6ix9ine and someone fans assumed was his last remaining close friend. In the messages, 6ix9ine vented about feeling used, broken, unsure, if he could ever make music again. The response? Cold, dismissive. Bro, if you're not useful, you're not relevant. You should have known that by now. That text hit fans hard because for the first time, it became painfully clear. Maybe 6ix9ine hadn't just been canceled or exposed or exhausted. Maybe he had been abandoned by the system he fed, by the chaos he created, by the people who once cheered him on. The fall wasn't loud. It wasn't explosive. It was slow, silent, and complete. As the dust settled, people began to reflect. Was he a villain? A victim, or just a mirror of what we've created in the age of viral fame? The beach videos stayed up. The comments were limited. The music was gone. The mansion tours were over. No more shoutouts, no more beef, no more drama, just silence. In that silence, a question lingered in every fan's mind. What happens when the noise finally stops? And there's no one left to hear you scream? And now, here we are. After all the chaos, the trolling, the courtrooms, the colors, the clout, it's quiet, too quiet. You watched him rise, you watched him fall. Some of you laughed, some of you defended him, some of you walked away a long time ago. But no matter how you felt, one thing is clear. 6ix9ine was never just a rapper. He was a symbol of the internet era, a product of fame, controversy, and chaos that never knew how to slow down. And now, maybe he finally has. But here's the thing. Now, this isn't just a story about one artist. It's about us, the people who watch, who follow, who fuel the rise, and sometimes the collapse. So the question isn't just what happened to 6ix9ine. It's what happens next. Does he stay gone? Does he heal? Does he return? Rebranded? Reimagined? Or do we close the book for good? Only time will tell. But while you're here, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think he deserves a second chance? Or has the damage been done? Drop your take in the comments. No filters, no holding back. We'll be reading. And if you want more stories that go deeper than the headlines, about the real drama, the real emotions, and the messy truth behind the fame, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next fall, it could be even louder. And trust us, you won't want to miss it.